Throughout this video, we will share some basic information about the green machine, as well as safety procedures, required tools and materials, machine setup, proper tire filling techniques, and machine shutdown and cleanup. Ensure you have the necessary equipment required for the tire fill flat-proofing pumping system at your location, including a flat-proofing log for record keeping, a cleaning solvent such as 99% isopropyl alcohol, tools, rags for cleanup, and safety items such as safety glasses and chemically resistant gloves. A fire extinguisher, tire safety cage, first aid kit with eye wash station, and safety data sheets. Due to the combustible materials you will be handling, there should be no smoking, grinding, or open flames in the workspace with signs posted, and spectators should be carefully monitored. Refer to the OSHA guidelines for additional safety information. Compliance is unique at each location and should be in accordance with all local, state, and federal regulations. Flat-proofing materials should be stored indoors in a controllable environment at 72 degrees Fahrenheit or warmer. Never store flat-proofing materials outside. Prior to processing, the materials must be at least 72 degrees Fahrenheit to ensure proper mixing curing times. During cold weather processing, allow for extra curing time. 24 to 48 hours is recommended. When moving the equipment or changing totes, care must be given to keep the hoses on the correct side. Tire Fill's isoside product is sensitive to moisture. It requires the use of a desiccant to remove any moisture from the air as it enters the tote. To install the desiccant cartridge, simply peel off the tabs on both sides of the canister. On the canister, there is an arrow which indicates the direction of airflow. The arrow must be pointed towards the tote. Remove the white 2-inch center bong on the isoside tote. Grease the threads of the desiccant holder and screw the assembly into the center opening. Place the filter in the desiccant holder and tighten the hose clamp. Make sure the inspection window is visible from the front of the tote. Change the cartridge when the inspection window turns pink. When hooking up new totes, inspect the ball valve for damage that may have occurred during shipping. Remove the shipping cap and foil seal and apply a thin coat of grease to tote connector. Screw the tote connector onto the ball valve. Hand tighten only. Apply grease to the tote connector and inside of the cam lock. Then connect the cam lock to the tote connector, locking the cam lock in place by pulling back on the handles and inserting the pins. Repeat this procedure for the other tote. The inside of the tire must be cleaned and dried. Water, sealants, glycol, calcium chloride, soaps, bead lubricants, or even dirt must be removed from the tire. If the tire is rinsed, the inside of the tire must be dried prior to flat-proofing. Wheels should be inspected for cracks, metal fatigue, and corrosion. Bent, cracked, or rusted wheels are a safety hazard and should not be used. New tires should be pre-stretched by inflating to operating pressure for 24 hours at 72 degrees Fahrenheit before filling. Pre-stretching the tire ensures that it will be filled to its capacity and will minimize long-term carcass growth during service. Used tires do not need to be pre-stretched and will take more flat-proofing product than a new tire. The best results and value are obtained when flat-proofing new tires. The tire fill flat-proofing material is injected into the tire through the valve stem. At the same time, air is removed or vented through an opening or needle at the 12 o'clock position. Liquid flat-proofing material fills the inside cavity of the tire. When the tire is full, the hole is plugged with a bolt or screw. The tire is then pressurized for the correct application. The valve stem is then sealed and the tire is laid flat to cure. After 24 to 48 hours, the solid elastomer is formed. The tire is now permanently flat-proofed and can be put into service. Flat-proof tires are pressurized not with air but with flat-proofing material. It is important that before you begin flat-proofing, you know the operating pressure of the tire. If you are uncertain about the pressure, refer to the manufacturer's data book or the yearbook by the Tire and Rim Association. Never pressurize the tire above the maximum pressure as indicated on the sidewall, rim, or wheel rating. There is a fundamental difference between pressurizing a tire with air and pressurizing a tire with Tire Fill's flat-proofing materials. Gases are compressible, liquids are not. Pressurizing a tire with air is a gradual process, with pressure building slowly from the initial introduction of air. With tire fill's flat-proofing process, the tire is vented during the filling procedure so there is little pressure buildup until the tire is totally filled. Then the pressure builds up rapidly while pumping a very small additional amount of material. Tire Fill has a flat-proofing weight chart in addition to an online flat-proofing estimator to help you approximate weight and cost for flat-proofing tires. This information will be useful as it helps you determine if you have enough material to do the job, and you can monitor the progress of each tire as it is filled. In addition, you are provided with an operator's manual. Please keep your manual handy so you will have access to more detailed information as well as troubleshooting. Check the level of the filler grind in the hopper. Add filler if needed. Turn the power switch on the control panel to the on position. To select the job, press the upper left menu button once and use the arrow key to select the appropriate job. Press the Escape button to return to the main run screen. Make sure you have sufficient solvent and flat-proofing materials for operation and cleanup. Open the ball valves on the ISO and cat side totes. The green machine is equipped with a wired remote that allows the operator to perform some basic functions without using the control panel. In addition to the basic starting and stopping, the remote can be utilized to aid in the startup and cleanup routines. The remote consists of two momentary buttons labeled Jog and System Reset, and a 3-position mode switch, which allows the operator to select between System, Jog All, and the Jog PC mode. Set to the System position to run the green machine and the job mode. Pressing the System Reset button starts the green machine and will run the job number currently displayed on the control panel. To stop the green machine using the remote, move the mode switch to Jog All. Placing the System switch in the Jog PC position runs the PC pump only. This can be helpful if the mixing well level is too high and needs to be lowered. Progressive cavity speeds are changed using the control panel. You will need 2 5-gallon pails during operation, 1 pail for priming the system on startup, and 1 for cleanup. Lining the pails with a trash bag will make disposal and reclaiming material easier. Remove the cap and connect the fluid gun body to the dispenser hose. If the fill gun plunger isn't already attached to the gun body, attach it now. Next, attach the gauge assembly. The green machine needs to be primed before tires can be filled. To prime the green machine, place the fluid gun over one of the waste containers. Select the Jog PC setting on the remote and press the Jog button. Press until the solvent has been removed from the mixing well. Change the remote to System and reduce the cavity speed to 30. To adjust the progressive cavity pump speed, press the Enter key on the main control panel. The cavity speed percentage number will be highlighted. Enter a 30% value on the control panel and press the Enter key. Pressing the F1 key on the control panel will start the green machine. Pressing the F2 key will stop the green machine. Run material into the pail. About half a pail should be sufficient for priming. Priming the green machine will take a minute or two. All speed adjustments for the progressive cavity pump are performed on the system control panel, and only the progressive cavity pump speed should be changed during the tire filling operation. All other functions and filler ratios are selected by the job number. Staging the tires ahead of time will speed up the process. The tires should be safely placed in the tire cage with the air-water valve in the 6 o'clock position. Next, verify the tire manufacturer's recommended PSI prior to filling. Remove the air-water valve. Attach the gun connector to the base of the air-water valve stem. Press the air-water valve into the gun and pull back on the plunger. Attach the fluid gun to the gun connector. Begin filling the tire by pressing the System Reset button on the remote or pressing the F1 key on the main panel. During the flat proofing process, it is your responsibility to monitor the material levels and adjust the progressive cavity pump as needed to prevent over or under conditions in the mixing well. Monitor the mixing well after the new speed values have been entered. Readjust the cavity speed if needed. Gradual adjustments are recommended. Check the tire pressure. When you reach 30% of the maximum tire pressure, stop filling the tire and drill a vent hole with a 3/8" drill bit or larger at the 12 o'clock position in the tread area of the tire. Then continue filling the tire. Constantly monitor the vent hole, checking for escaping air. Once the tire is full, air will no longer escape and material will begin flowing from the vent hole. Press F2 on the control panel or turn the mode switch on the remote to jog all to stop the green machine. Insert a screw or bolt into the vent hole to seal it. Check the tire pressure reading. Use the jog all position to pressurize the tire. When the switch is placed in the jog all position, press and hold the jog button to run the material pumps, grind hopper, and PC pump. Continue filling the tire until the tire manufacturer's recommended PSI has been reached. Once the recommended PSI has been achieved, stop filling the tire. Press the plunger down and turn clockwise to reinsert the valve core. To ensure the proper seating of the valve core, pull back on the plunger and check the pressure on the PSI gauge. The PSI gauge should read 0. Disconnect the fluid gun from the gun connector. Remove the gun connector from the tire. Carefully lay the tire horizontally for proper curing. Allow the tire fill mixture to cure inside the tire for at least 24 to 48 hours in a climate-controlled environment with a minimum temperature of 72 degrees Fahrenheit. After the last tire is filled and you are ready to shut down the green machine, change the mode select switch to jog PC on the system remote. Place the fluid gun over an empty lined 5-gallon pail. Press and hold the jog button. This will run the cavity pump only, removing the virgin and mixed flat proofing material from the mixing well, progressive cavity pump, and the dispensing hose. Release the jog button when the material has been purged. Run 10 pumps of grease using the grease gun through the grease fitting located on the line pressure gauge. Pour the pail of solvent into the mixing well, approximately 2.5 to 3 gallons. Press the jog button on the remote and run half the solvent into the waste pail. Place the fill hose over the mixing well and press the jog button again. Allow material to circulate for 30 seconds through the system. Check solvent level and mixing well and add solvent if necessary. Solvent levels should be above the auger flights. Purge the pressure release ball valve during the flush process. Remove the fluid gun and place a cap on the dispensing hose. Remove the PSI gauge from the gun assembly. Clean the diaphragm thoroughly with a brush in 99% isopropyl alcohol. Store in a safe place. Clean the fill gun plunger. Store in alcohol. Thoroughly clean the gun body. Rinse and store all parts in alcohol. Clean the gun stem connector and store in solvent. The mixing components and whip hose must remain in the solvent container during storage. The solvent level must be high enough to completely cover all items. Keep all solvents covered when not in use. Last, shut off both tote valves. Turn off the main power source. To ensure the material does not solidify between uses, the green machine needs to be run once a week. Congratulations! You have successfully shut down and cleaned the green machine. These important steps will allow you to be prepared and ready for the next time you will fill a tire.